Well, hello, everybody, and thank you very much for allowing me to start this a little early tonight. My grandson, Xavi Cruz Martinez, who I think will be the first two-sport professional athlete ever, soccer and baseball, plays in a tournament finals tonight. We thought for sure they'd get beat on Saturday, and they won. Hey, on the screen is Marcy New. Marcy is the AmaWaterways representative, and we've got, honestly, we've got some really good information to tell you about tonight before we get into the PowerPoint presentation. There is a lot of things going on in the world right now that are important for everybody to know. And why, you know, we are hearing many things about vaccines, especially in Europe. France shut down a little bit. In the cities, by the way, if you read it, it was they shut down in the metropolitan areas, not in the rural areas. And they're opening back up at the end of this month. But Marcy sent me this report today that we're going to read to you in a minute that I just love. France to open borders for vaccinated tourists in May, including Americans and Brits. How about that? Then it goes on. You all need to hear this. So not only has this whole time been horrible to us as a travel agency, to Marcy as the representative for that wonderful river cruise line, AmaWaterways, we have missed you all who are watching tonight. And I know you're as excited, maybe, I don't know, maybe you are as excited as I am. Gosh, I'm just so frustrated and fed up with all this. I'm so ready to go that listen to this is a true story. I had a almost full ship charter with Marcy in June on the Seine River, and that got just last week postponed again. And I said, enough is enough. I'm going to go spend my kids' inheritance with them, and we're taking our son and his girlfriend, hopefully his future fiance. We'd sure be happy with that. Maybe I would. And our daughter, Andrea, our son-in-law, Jorge, and more importantly, our two grandkids, favorite grandson, Xavi, favorite granddaughter, Ariella, to the Galapagos Islands. And we're leaving June 18th, almost the exact same time we were going to be in France. Listen to this. This is how this COVID thing has hurt the travel industry. Just to give you some ideas, Marcy sent this over to me today. Italy already, well, Italy has announced that they lost 121 billion euros in 2020 due to imposed travel and tourism restrictions. Then this article goes on. France, which, by the way, do you guys know France was #1 tourist country in the world for about 10 years running, as far as number of people from all over the world that go to different countries? France is #1. France lost 103 billion euros in 2020. And then it talks about its GDP falling from, well, anyway, Steve will know all about that GDP stuff. Hey, okay, so it is very, very evident that as more and more people, at least in this country, are getting vaccinated, the world is starting to open up, things are starting to happen. And the thing we look at more than anything are when, and then what kind of, what's the policies? What's the policies? Is it AmaWaterways that's going to dictate the policies for where we're going to go? Is it France? Well, in a way, it's both. But I love Rudy Schreiner, the owner, and they call him the godfather of river cruising, who is the co-founder of AmaWaterways. Rudy said, hey, listen, the countries are going to be tougher than we are, so we are going to go with whatever the countries say. Rudy, Marcy will tell you this, they've had well over 2,000 people just in the fall in Germany go on one of their ships, the Ama Christina, all Germans on the Rhine, and they had no problems whatsoever. So Rudy knows, all the executives know that they're ready from a safety protocol point of view. And I can tell you these countries, as I just read, they're going to be so hungry for tourism that we'll probably get better service than we've ever gotten before. I can even imagine the Parisians will probably be friendly to the Americans. You never know. You never know. Marcy, if you don't mind, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about AmaWaterways, and I'm going to get into this exciting itinerary to Bordeaux. I think we are all ready to get away and drink some good wine, and I think the thing that's going to be exciting about this itinerary is most everybody thinks of Bordeaux and you just think of good red wines or good wines, but the scenery, the culture, apparently from a culinary point of view, it's one of the best places, not only in France, but in all of Europe. I did read that there is a running argument between the people in the Bordeaux region. You know, gastronomy is a big deal in France, right? Big deal. And Lyon is known to be the gastronomical capital of France and arguably the world. And I don't think the people in Bordeaux believe that. So, no. Marcy, you go ahead, take it away.
Okay. Number one, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And Mark was talking about protocols. And before we get started with our slides, I will just tell you, he was mentioning that we operated last year with a little over 2,000 people that were hosted on the Ama Christina on the Rhine River. We are the only river line that actually operated during COVID. So it gave us an incredible opportunity to perfect our protocols within each country and to make sure that our ships were ready and our crew members were ready. And I have to tell you, we chartered this with a German tour operator, and so pleased to say he was on board with us for 2 weeks, and he timed each day how long he had to wear his mask. And he said it was a total of 14 minutes per day. So that protocol obviously worked extremely well. It was just leaving the guest stateroom and going to their final destination, whether it be the restaurant, the lounge area, or onto their tours. So it's been obviously a learning experience for all of us. We're very excited. The countries are opening up, and we will actually charter to that tour company again, starting in the 1st of June. He will have a ship until the end of the year. So again, we'll operate with those same protocols. But we have adapted the ships very easily to the protocols, using the plexiglass in the reception areas and in the lounge areas, but still really allowing the guests to enjoy the full Ama experience. So please note that when you're traveling with us, it's most important that you get the whole experience with AmaWaterways, and we get to provide you with that 5-star level of service that we are so known for. So Mark, if you want to start the slides, we can do that.
I will, and before we go, I should have stopped to say, I see so many names I'm very familiar with, and I miss you all. I wish we could have shared some memories together last year and this year. Hopefully in October, September 30th, we will. And we will keep you abreast of all the policies that, in this case, France and Spain, if you're interested in doing the prepackaged to Bilbao and San Sebastian. But, oh, and I have a disclaimer. I tried so hard to study all this and try to pronounce these French places that we're going. I've got the word chateau down and Bordeaux, but some of these others, you know, Lynette keeps telling me, don't roll the R's, Mark. That's Spanish, not French. And so forgive me if you'll be so kind, forgive me for any butchering I do of these French words. And Marcy, you took a lesson today, right, from one of your cruise directors? It was from,
I did. We have a cruise manager that grew up in the Bordeaux region, and he's absolutely delightful. He's now come from the ships, and he's working as the same position I have across the country. And so I had to quickly call him and say, give me 5 to 10 minutes of a language lesson here pretty quickly. And so we did that, and it's a lot of fun. I mispronounced, but I think I've got it pretty good now. I had a good lesson, so hopefully I can help you get through that, Mark.
Well, if we had a good glass of Bordeaux red, we'd probably be able to pronounce things better. And I miss seeing everybody a lot. Hey, one last thing about this. I've had a lot of people ask me, we've had several new bookings lately. Gordon Pinsky, you're on, I know, thank you for sending people our way. And I've had several of our clients ask about going to specific wineries that are really hard to get into. The one comment I'd make, please send me if you have requests like that. I cannot promise anything, But if we get an overlap of enough interest in a certain area, who knows? This might be a time of year that we could get in where we didn't think we could to some of those places. And the more people we have closer to a charter, the more chance we'll have of being able to do some things that maybe we wouldn't be able to do if the ship was opened up to people from all over the country or the world. So that part is good. Keep in mind, invite people. I got to tell you, there's such a pent-up demand right now. You cannot believe, praise God, how much business we have booked this month. More already, and we're on the 19th, more already in April than we did in March. In March, we had a better month than we did March of 2019, which was the best March we'd ever had. February, great. January, great. The pent-up demand is huge. And it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, I believe, as the cruise lines open up, ocean and river cruising, and the world starts to open up. I think when people see safety protocols as they are, it will get even bigger. And river cruising, we view to be very, very popular, especially the smaller ships. And Marcy, you might address that a little bit so people know before we go any further. This is one of the smaller ships, 110-meter ships, right, because of the river size?
Absolutely. This is the AmaDolce, which is an absolutely beautiful ship. It receives awards every single year. It's 110 meters with occupancy right at about 140 guests. And of course, 140 if that's what the countries will let us bring. Up to this point, it was just bringing in 100. So we'll abide by whatever the country's rules and specifications are. But these ships are magnificent, very intimate, very engaging, but yet we still have plenty of space for everyone. So it's not like it's a crowded situation, but the ships are beautiful, and it is smaller because it is on this waterway, and this waterway could not accommodate one of our larger ships being 135 meter, which only holds about 20 more guests, but the ship itself is smaller. So yes, absolutely. And you know, one of the things, Mark, also that I think is so very important is that no matter where we are, and once we start service, we can position all of our ships to where they need to be within about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So we're ready to go. We've got captains sitting and waiting with bated breath, if you will, and crew members that are all ready to be assigned to their vessels and move on so that we can really get to enjoy the rivers at least a couple of months this year. I wanted to also say that, so funny you mentioned March and the pent-up demand. March was the most successful month for AmaWaterways in 19 years. We booked more new bookings. We booked a total of over 8,000 guests in March. So we know you're out there. We know you're ready to go, and we're ready to take you, and you can have no more fun than to travel with Mark and enjoy all of the extras and the great things that he brings as well. So. Yeah.
Well, those of you know who know Dr. Lurding, Chip Lurding, it's going to be kind of a retirement and a big celebration there, and he knows wine better than anybody I know, and for the rest of us, it'll be good to have doctors on board, right? So, hey, I did want to say, if you can and will be so kind to invite anybody you might think through who might want to go on this yet. Our charter rates are anywhere from $225 to $450 a person less than AMA's going rate right now. The other thing to be aware of, 2022, and Marcy will allude to this, will be, it looks like right now will be the best year in the history of vacation industry, and prices will do nothing but go up and up and up. So this is such a great value this year. Okay, right, Marcy?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We were watching the pricing as the ships are filling up. It's like anything, supply and demand. So when the demand is there, obviously our promotions end earlier than they normally would because the ships are full. And remember, when you're thinking about this, don't think a long time, because we had to move people from 2020 to another sail date. So we moved them from 2020 to 2021. And then unfortunately in the early spring, we had to move 2021 folks to 2022. So don't wait, because the ships are small and we are seeing a huge demand in vacation travel. So yeah,
absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead with the presentation. We've got many new people watching tonight, and I appreciate that. And I probably should introduce myself to the new people. I'm Mark Comfort, and my wife Mimi and I for 32 years have owned Cruise Holidays of Kansas City and Comfort Tours and Travel, and I will be one of the hosts on this trip. And I am so ready to see you guys. I am so ready to travel. I'm so ready to see the world. And I'm really, actually, I'm so excited about this. Even though I can't pronounce most of the places we're going properly, I am excited to go there. So let's go ahead and we'll go through all this, okay?
Okay.
Do we have, let's see, from the beginning. There we go.
There we go. Okay. So we are, of course, hosting, as Mark said, and the dates are September 30 through October 7 of this year, 2021. Mark, are you ready to change the slide? Oh,
I give it a second. It didn't go back to where it was supposed to go, Marcy.
sure it did.
Drink some wine.
And just get ahead. We're just ready to go to the next one. No, you're okay.
We'll get it. We'll get it to you just a second. Oh, there
we go. Whoops.
Let's go all the way to right there. You want to go there?
Sure. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with AmaWaterways, we are a family-owned and operated business since 2002. And in 2002 to 2006, we operated as Amadeus Waterways, but that's when we brought our first ship into the water. Something very important for you to realize about AmaWaterways is Rudy Schreiner, as Mark mentioned, is known as the godfather of the rivers. And he is the only river executive that's ever put into the Cruise Line International Hall of Fame. And it's because of his innovation. And his innovation is within the build of our ships. We are more shallow at the draw than any other river line, which enables us to travel these rivers much more successfully when we have water situations. So you can imagine, as we all know rivers, there's perfect water, high water, and low water. Well, as you can imagine, the low water situation can be very, very challenging to float a vessel. Well, in 2018, we had low waters only on the Rhine and the Danube. And we operated in 11 inches of water just because of the way he builds our ships. Everyone else had to pull over park and take you on a motor coach through Europe. We did not. We had no cancellations at all. So he brings so much knowledge to the industry. And then we have the lovely Christine Karst, who is our second family of ownership and a founder as well. Christine has a dual degree in tourism from East Berlin and has such a passion, such a wonderful lady. She has a passion with our guests. She's on board these ships many, many times. You might be sitting next to her and not even know who it is. They're such delightful people. But she also has a wealth of knowledge in the industry, and she works very closely with our advisors to make sure that our guests are always being treated with that 5-star level of service and that everything goes smoothly and without any issues. And then you have the Murphy family, and the Murphy family used to own a big land-based company going back and forth to Europe. They sold the land-based company and came on board in 2002 with Rudy and Christine, Mr. Jimmy Murphy, and he brought with him, again, a wealth of knowledge on packaging these programs because he knew how to package it, having done the land-based portion going back and forth from the US to Ireland, his home-based country. So we have an amazing group of people that really are at the helm for us. And the most important thing to them is that your experience is made so that you feel like part of our family and that we exceed your expectations with our 5 stars. So go ahead.
Okay, and Marcy, it's Gary's birthday today. I called him and wished him happy birthday.
It is Gary's birthday today. He's a wonderful guy. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know we really have a focus on Bordeaux, but I wanted to show you all of the rivers that we cover in Europe. We cover the 6 largest rivers in Western Europe, the largest river being the Danube River, going all the way from the Netherlands down into Bulgaria and into the Black Sea. Then we have the Rhine River, which is this river right here that goes from the Netherlands, taking you down into Switzerland. So the Danube is known for its very mountainous region, its very lush topography, a war history, as the Rhine is known for its castle history and its war history as well. And then you come over here and we have the Seine River, and the Seine River is the river of the arts. One of the high points and important points of this river is we do a private ceremony on the beaches of Normandy. We're the only river line that do that ceremony. Then you come down here and this is exactly where you're going to be. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but this is the Garonne estuary estuary coming in from the Atlantic, and you will be on the Garonne and the Dordogne River while you are in Bordeaux. And then we are doing the extension to Bilbao and San Sebastian. Then you also have the option, don't forget, if you're traveling on this, you can extend up into the Loire Valley, or you can go back up into Paris. So really up to you. I know that we're seeing, Mark, a lot of people who are taking longer vacations because they haven't been able to vacation in the past 2 years or year and a half. So they've got a little extra time there. This is the Douro River. Yep.
This might be a good time to say that AmaWaterways just introduced in 2023 a 7-river journey, which will be 45 or 46 days. So if you want to get away for a month and a half and see most all the rivers of Europe, we can do that.
Absolutely. It's called our World Cruise Through Europe. So anyway, so what makes river cruising so special? So for those of you who haven't been with us, I know some of you haven't, we are so grateful for you joining us. But of course, like any sailing, any vessel, you only unpack one time, and your beautiful boutique hotel travels with you, your 5-star luxury property travels with you. It's very intimate and personal. So on this ship, as I mentioned, depending upon the protocol within the countries, you will never have any more than about 140 people on board. You choose your own activity level when it comes to our tours. So we're going to offer a multitude of tours every day with all different types of things for you to do. It might be bicycling, we'll talk about that. It might be hiking, and you know, there's a multitude of city tours and chateau visits and all of these wonderful things. One of the other things very important that Ama is really known for, and that's we dock in the heart of these cities. And I think the important part of that is you can get off or on the vessel at any time and go in 1 block, 2 blocks, and you are right in the heart of all the activities, the city centers, these beautiful chateaux, the vineyards, and it's all right there early, easy, very, very easy for you to embark or disembark. And then, of course, everything is very cultural on the rivers. We truly believe we take you through the country, not just to the country, so that you can experience and immerse yourself with the local people and the local cultures. And you definitely get to do that. The rivers in Europe are the vessels and veins of these countries. So we're not just taking you on the outer edges to the big cities. You're going to some destinations that you wouldn't be able to really get to unless you are on water. And then, of course, no seasickness. We haven't had any seasickness because we don't have a sea. You can see both sides of the river's edge at all times. And then, of course, our fine dining, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. You can go ahead, Mark. So we want you to feel as part of our family. We are a family-owned business. It is very important to us that all of you feel very warmed, welcomed, and that you have the conveniences of home. So never hesitate to let us know if you need something, if you want something, if you want to try something, if you need a suggestion, whatever it may be. We are there to make sure that we are your home away from home with that beautiful 5-star level of service and choices that we offer. Go ahead. And we have elevators. This is most important. They go to all but one of the decks, which would be the sun deck, and there's a few steps to the sun deck. But we do have elevators. If anyone has maybe a bit of a challenge with the stairs, you can certainly utilize our elevators. This is the lobby of one of these beautiful ships. And as you notice, the windows or the doors on the side, these doors are on both sides. So we exit and enter the ship from both sides. So you never are having to walk around all the way around the vessel to get off or on. Go ahead. And entertainment on demand. We love that. This is an infotainment center or system in every stateroom, and it serves 4 purposes. It's a music system, first run movies, it's a television, and it's a full-blown computer. So you don't need to drag all of your devices with you unless you just have an attachment to them and you don't want to leave them at home. But you can actually access your emails right from the convenience of your own stateroom. And we have the fastest Wi-Fi on the river. We know how important it is that some people still want to do business from the river. So not last year, but in 2019, we spent more money upgrading our Wi-Fi system than we did on fuel for 20 ships. So we know that internet is very important to you. Go ahead. And our cuisine, this is very special. We are one of the only river lines that has been given and been inducted into this society called Le Chêne Road de Sur. And this was established in 1248, given a rebirth in 1950. There are many of these clubs, if you will, in the US. I was excited to see that. But what it really means to you as our guest is that you will have 5-star dining at all turns. And we have one evening that we host and feature one of the Lachine menus. And so it is a delightful dining experience. The other thing that we have is not just the main dining room, but we offer the chef's table. And this is a very intimate experience. We'll set all of this up for you because you're traveling with Mark and the group. So we'll make sure you have a reservation in the chef's table. It only holds 24 people. Everything is served a la minute or all at the moment, each plate made fresh for each guest. We do a wine pairing in there as well. And then we also offer our coffee cafes in there. So in the main lounge area and in this restaurant, you have coffee cafes. They are with cappuccinos, espressos, lattes, hot chocolates, international teas. And the one in the main lounge area is available to you at all times, 24 hours a day, complimentary. In the mornings, to kickstart that tour, we've got the champagnes and fresh mimosas. At lunch and dinner, we have unlimited beers and premium hand-selected wines of each region, and they are matched to your menu or the region that you're traveling. And these will change every single day. In the afternoons, 1 hour before dinner, we have open bar selections complimentary for you. And this just gives you a beautiful picture of what one of our main restaurants look like. They are, you can see on both sides, they're panoramic, so you can see all the sights along the river as we're dining, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Go ahead. And this is a picture of the chef's table, which I mentioned again, panoramic. It's at the opposite end of the ship from the main dining area. And this is where we do that exquisite 9-course dining. And it's all the meals are exquisite, I have to say that, not just this room. Anything you eat on board is totally amazing. And I will tell you, Mark, I'm very excited for you to go back to the river with us because you're going to see new menu choices. Through the pandemic, Rudy spent a lot of time with our head chefs. And we are bringing out new menus and new ways to serve. And oh my gosh, I'm excited. So yes, it's a very, very fun time. Go ahead. And most of all, and most importantly, is that you really get time to relax. You are not on a vacation to run and go crazy and figure out, come to bed at night and just be so tired and then have to get up the next day and you go home and then you have to go on another vacation to catch up on your rest. This is the sun deck. This is a beautiful area as we're traveling on the rivers. You will have a cruise manager that's telling you about what you're looking at, the history of what you're seeing. You can have a beautiful glass of wine up there, a coffee, whatever makes you happy. But this is a very nice, relaxing area where there's plenty of space for everyone. Go ahead. And most of all, I have a lot of people that travel that say to me, I never saw this room. I say, well, that's because you didn't look for it. It's there. So for those of you who have a routine with your workout, I'm going to assure you, you're going to get plenty of exercise. But if you would like to have a routine or follow your routine, we have the fitness rooms and we have a fitness host on board that will give you 5 different choices each day for classes. And these classes are all complimentary. You don't need to sign up for them. You just show up for them and they will not interfere with your other tours. Might be a Zumba, might be a yoga, might be a cardio or a core stretching, and they might mix it with a wine tasting or a champagne tasting or a chocolate tasting. Lots and lots of fun. So we've got this available to you as well if this is something that's in your daily routine. Go ahead. And this should be in everybody's daily routine, a massage. We have several massage rooms, spa rooms on the ship, and we have a couple of masseuses. So if this is something you love to treat yourself to, I have to tell you, it is a wonderful experience. It's very, very competitive in pricing. It's actually less than we pay over here a lot of times. So if this is something you want to treat yourself to, please make your reservations early when you get on board because there's only so much space. Go ahead. And our tours. So our tours, we do 3 different ways. So we're going to break down our tours by gentle walkers, regular walkers, and active walkers, and then we're going to do late risers. That's the one I always get caught up on. I've never seen the late riser tour go because I'm so excited to go see what there is in each and every city and village, but they go an hour after everyone else. The gentle walkers will see one or two things, but they still get that personal service with a private guide. They just don't have to hurry. Our regular walkers will see most, you know, maybe 3 out of 5, and our active walkers will see all 5. So you can pick and choose each day how fast or slow you would like to go and how much time you would like to take. It's so important. Go ahead. And our bicycle tours, we have 21 bicycling tours through Europe. Now, the exciting part about Bordeaux is that we have a couple where you can go village to village on the bicycle. So very, very fun. We've got guided tours, or you can just go off on the bicycles on your own. I highly recommend a guided tour for something like this, because a lot of times you'll see these beautiful sights, but you don't have any idea what's going on. So you can sign up for those when you arrive at the ship, or the next day, or whenever you would like to, because the cruise manager is going to give you the briefing every day and tell you what tomorrow is going to bring. But this is a wonderful way to see some of these cities and villages riding through the vineyards. Go ahead. And hiking tours, we have 33 hiking tours through Europe. So you'll have these options as well. And you don't need to make these decisions before you go. You can make these decisions when you get on board. They'll talk to you more about what's going to be involved in the hike. Is it to the top of the mountain, like right here, where you see the remnants of the castle? Or is it just, it's not going to be that way on Bordeaux, so you may just want to hike from one chateau to another. But go ahead. Our onboard entertainment is very important. 95% of our entertainment comes to the ship for your ease and enjoyment. We have everything, whatever that region is known for. So it might be this beautiful 4-piece quartet, string quartet, known as Lestrada. Some of you have seen them, I'm sure. It might be a glass blower. It might be an artist. It might be just a local vocalist. It might be a local band. Whatever it is, I will tell you the music and the performances are fabulous, and you get to do it from the convenience of your own ship or home or the area that we're in. So go ahead. And there you go, Mark. Now it's about the really fun part.
Well, this is my time to just share this, and I must tell you, I've never been there, and but I've had it on my to-do list for such a long time. And when we got thinking about this, I did call one of Marcy's, one of AmaWaterways reservation managers, and they allowed me just to spend a good half hour, 45 minutes with her talking about all the highlights. And the thing she impressed me most, because you think of this area just as vineyards and wine, but she said, Mark, the scenery and the culture, everything was just incredible, as well as the history. Well, all of that, I think, creates like a perfect scenario. So I asked her what her favorite tours were, assuming she was a connoisseur of great wines, and she said, well, I didn't do any of the wine tastings. They were available every day, so I did all the scenery, the cultural, and the historic tours. And I said, why on earth would you have skipped the wine tastings? And she said, oh, I don't drink wine. And I said, you don't drink wine? You went to Bordeaux? She said, oh yeah, and I loved it. And she said, be sure to tell people they don't have to be a wine lover to go to this area and really, really enjoy it. And I'll tell you what, I love how Ama says in their brochure, this trip is a must for anyone interested in the best of French culture, lifestyle, wine, and food. So I think when you see that, that's pretty cool. I like this this map. It's a simple map. Many of you have asked, and several of you have already signed up for that Loire Valley in between Bordeaux and Paris. Mimi and I have done that before. Several of you on the webinar tonight have been through that, and it is fantastic. It is chateau heaven in that area. Just pretty incredible. I am, however, going to do the 2-night Bilbao and San Sebastian pre-package. I had, just so you all know, I had a Gems of Southeastern Europe trip scheduled that went literally back to back. So we had asked Ama to do this, the 2-night Bilbao, 2-night San Sebastian after the Bordeaux trip. But when the Gems of Southeast Europe got pushed off to next year, next October exactly, we decided we'd just go with our regular program of doing this beforehand. Okay, but I like that. I think that's a good map. Bilbao, I've been there before. It is a fascinating city, just a fascinating place with some things that I'll show you here at the end of the tour. But the Guggenheim Museum, if you've not seen that museum in Bilbao, you be sure to Google that and look at it. It'll be a highlight. Then you look at this. Lynette, my assistant, said, "My gosh, that looks like Rio or somewhere," and it does, doesn't it? In San Sebastian. And all the people that we've sent on this trip, they came back. The first thing they talked about was how fabulous San Sebastian was. So I look very, very forward to that. And again, here's the Loire Valley. You see chateaus like this. I mean to tell you, all over. It's just crazy. And absolutely, the history in that area of chateaus is amazing. Bordeaux, many of you probably know, or if you read anyway, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it's also known as one of the capitals of France and one of the best places to go in France for art, as well as the history in that area. So we'll start there. And by the way, as we go through this, do understand many of you have been on these river cruises before, and Marcy did not toot her horn, but river cruising has had a well over a 96% total satisfaction rate, which is better than any other segment of the vacation industry by far. And AmaWaterways leads that. They're in the low 98% satisfaction rate, which is pretty amazing. You also, if you've river cruised, you know that many rivers like the Rhine and the Danube can be very long rivers. Where we are now in this part of France, these two rivers are not we will not traverse a long way at all. And the benefit of that is that we'll get to spend more time at more ports or in port than we will on many different river cruises. So some of the chateaus that we will see here in Libourne, I think will be just quite impressive. I mean, you look at that place, and I expect that's what Sue and John Shaw summer home looks like. I'm not sure, but I would guess. Pretty cool, huh? So, and by the way, the lady I was telling you about from Ama, the reservation manager, she could not say enough about the Saint-Emilion. She just thought that was one of the highlights, both from a cultural and a peaceful and a spectacular scenery area. Okay, the marketplaces, and many of you have been with us all over Europe. You know their markets are just so special in that part of the world, and this will be no exception. The fresh flowers, as you see out there, pretty impressive. Blaye, I believe is how you pronounce it. This was one of the military citadels or fortresses in that area that we've seen some things like this, but quite impressive setup, right? Quite an impressive setup. Okay, there, I like this picture. We picked this one because it shows how AmaDolce's so close to the areas, and my gosh, if they had a winery right there, that'd be pretty cool, and maybe they will. Marcy, you might write that down, see if you can arrange that. We'll probably have some of these grapes or some of these wines tonight from this vineyard the night we get back on. There's the Citadel, as you see right there. We'll find out how old it is and get the history of it. I think all of that is really pretty cool. I love the ancient history, the history part of this. Matter of fact, grapes have been growing in this part of the world, you all, for 2,000 years. So we're going to get to see some, ancient history, and then obviously some newer history. Lynette told me I do not pronounce the G in Bourg, so that would be Bourg. Is that right, Marcy?
That's correct. That's correct.
Wow, that's so cool. So that Citadel there that you just saw is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And when we go through all this, they describe these ancient villages, scenic. In this area, we will go through a carriage museum, which houses, I guess, a great collection of horse-drawn vehicles. So all of that is pretty fun. Marcy, I expect to see this, the cultural, the you know, what France probably is known for. And I bet we'll see this all over as we go through, stopping in to get a cup of coffee or a glass of wine.
Well, you do, Mark, but this is also a reminder that we have a private exclusive wine festival in Bourg.
Oh, that's right.
Exclusive wine festival only for AMA guests. So
Kind of
this
like
is like,
you do Bilshoff in the Oktoberfest. That's kind of fun. I like that.
yeah.
It says
Yes.
meet local wine growers and taste the fruits of their labors, as well as enjoy live French music and dancing.
Yes, it's
I
wonderful.
bet Scott Colbeck knows how to dance those French dances over there. How about this for beauty? And you guys, honestly, we're in the time of the year that we may or may not, we might be a little early for it, but many of us have gotten the start of color changes on some of our October trips before. So who knows, maybe we do. I love that picture. I think that's so fabulous. But this maybe impressed me as much as anything. I had no idea it was a mountainous terrain. And anytime you get that kind of, oh my gosh, this just looks like in wintertime you could ski down into the marketplace. So I got a feeling the scenery is going to be breathtaking and probably will exceed our expectations. I bet it will, at least for me. Okay, Marcy, you know how to pronounce that. You did it good. Pauillac?
Pauillac.
Pauillac. Okay, there you go. So again, because this area's been there so long, the chateaus that we will be going to are just world-class places, and there are, oh my gosh, that's, what do they call that? The famous wine there, Grand Cru wines?
Yeah, the Grand Cru Classé. The Grand Cru Classé.
This is where the Rothschilds chateau is. And
Yes.
gosh, I'm reading about 5 or 6 different chateaus that are right here in this area that we'll get to see today. As well as, I didn't know this, Marcy, it says we will see sites such as the Statue of Liberty and the Cardouin Lighthouse, known to be the oldest in France. So that's kind of cool. I've seen the Statue of Liberty and outside of Paris too, or in Paris, as well as New York City, but I had no idea there was one here. So that's kind of fun. Okay, again, here's Rothschilds, and I know this will probably be as well known as any of the chateaus and wineries that we'll go to. And Marcy, I know if you can address this, AMA for years has been doing this itinerary, and I know you've tweaked which wineries you go to over the years, but you've come up with something that you just feel like most Americans absolutely love, because there will be wine tastings every day as an option for tours, correct?
Absolutely, and that's why you're going to visit so many different chateaus, because you've got the option, you've got different types of grapes, you've got different types of wines. Each little area has its own way that they grow their grapes and the history of the vines and so forth. So absolutely, we have been doing this itinerary a very long time, and we change it up, you know, every time we find something that's a little bit different or a little bit better or a little more exclusive. Some of these places are only AmaWaterways visits. So we're always looking for that new experience, that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And that's what makes these chateau visits so very nice and important.
I think all this is going to be a very, very, very special experience. And then when you're with people you know and you like, and that's the other thing I love doing about these. I love doing these hosted groups like this, is people always meet up with like-minded people, and many, many, many friendships with people they've never met before come about as a result of these trips. And there's nothing like wine to help allow people to get the opportunity for people to get to know each other better and quicker. I like that part of it. So all of this is just pretty doggone fascinating. Vineyards everywhere, and look at that castle. So Marcy, here's the other thing. We're going to have to take not only French lessons on how to pronounce all these, but also we're going to have to learn the definitions between castles and chateaus.
Absolutely, and they will definitely make sure you understand that before you leave. Yes, this one is a good one. You know, it's Cadillac and I learned how to pronounce this today. So it is Rook Tai Od Castle.
Say it again.
Rook Tai Od Castle.
Of course, sure.
Yes, yes.
Well,
Many
I
times.
thought the Cadillac was pretty interesting too. I always
Yeah.
thought it was good old Cadillac.
Yeah. No.
So all of this, look at this. And again, when we get into Bordeaux, like I said earlier, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there's a classification, Marcy, and I don't think I ever knew this. Bordeaux is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and classified as a city of art and history. So I think that part of it is really, really cool. There, we will get to go to the Bordeaux Wine Museum in an awe-inspiring building. I think after we see the Guggenheim Museum, I can't imagine it could be any more awe-inspiring than that. But okay, Lynette thinks this is in the wine museum. I said, no, it's got to be just a wine shop somewhere. Do you think that's in the wine museum?
No, Lynette is correct. This is in the wine museum.
It is? That's impressive.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
That looks like Dr. Chip Lurding's wine cellar. Well, maybe not. It's a little bit too modern for his. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then again, the quaint little cities. Gosh, we've all been in, if you haven't, these little cities like this that are, thousands of years old. Just the walkways, the narrow walkways and the markets and everything, they're just so cool, so doggone cool. And what a great time of the year to be there. Oh, by the way, yes, I had Nicole put this in today. Here's the Guggenheim Museum, you all. It just, what a architectural masterpiece. Maybe one of the most uniquely designed buildings you will ever see anywhere in your whole life. Okay, there's San Sebastian again in daylight. Look at the mountainous regions around it in the marina. If you want to do that pre-package, and again, we will find out to be sure that Spain will allow us in and not have any restrictions that we cannot meet. But if it does go, which I think by September, I think the odds are well over 90% it will go. September 26th, that means we leave the United States on the 25th. We can help you get air into Bilbao. And then they have, AMA has the entire package that takes us through Bilbao and San Sebastian and takes us to Bordeaux. So it's $1,300 a person, double occupancy, and everybody I've ever talked to that did this said it was well worth it. So again, merci, everybody. Did I say that right, Marcy?
Merci. Yes.
Merci. That's not Marcy, right? That's mercy.
No.
That's the French version of Marcy. Well, cool. Well, everybody, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I know many of you are very much waiting for this to happen. Like all of us, we're wondering if it'll happen. We're wondering what the protocols will be. We're wondering what we have to have. As far as a lot of the suppliers that we deal with have made 3 options to go when the countries allow them to. Option 1 is to be fully vaccinated. So when you do get vaccinated, or if you already have, make sure to keep your vaccine card. I'd even laminate it and keep it, with your passport. Then the other option will be a negative COVID test 74 hours before you leave the United States. And there are several of our suppliers that are also saying, not necessarily on this trip, not necessarily France or whatever, because the country's policies will dictate everything. I'm telling you, the suppliers, they also have said, hey, if you have a letter from your doctor that you had COVID and did recover from that, they will accept that as the okay to get into the country. As of right now, it's still, we have to have a COVID test to come back into the United States within 72 hours. AMA will help arrange that if that policy is still in place in October before we leave. So we will keep you abreast of any and all policy changes, but I feel very, very comfortable. Everything I'm hearing from everywhere says that things will be opening up this summer in Europe. And I don't know, I'm very, very optimistic for it, but we will keep you abreast of any changes or any of the restrictions that come about. So, and I know many people have not been vaccinated. Most have, I think, in the 60, 65 year and older category. But if you have any specific questions, please call tomorrow or email either me or Lynette, Mark at cruiseholidays.kc.com or Lynette at cruiseholidays.kc.com, and we'll get those questions answered for you. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. I think we're all ready to get going again, to start doing the things that we have all had planned and wanted to do, the bucket list trips. And I just look very, very forward to getting this one under our belt and getting to an area of the world that I haven't been to. I'm so excited about that, and drinking some good wine with old friends and new friends and sharing some memories that last a lifetime. Marcy, anything else you'd like to say?
No, just thank you so much. We are so excited to be starting on the rivers. We have great faith. We will definitely be there this summer. So do your planning now, don't wait. As I said, the ships are small and we are reaccommodating and taking all new bookings for fall as well. So thank you all so much. I so look forward to hosting you on one of our beautiful ships with the greatest host in the whole world, which is Mark Comfort. He's so much fun. And those of you who've traveled with him for many years know that fun. Those of you that don't, please join us. We would love to have you.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to head out to my grandson's ball game. And hey, by the way, how about those Kansas City Royals? Woo! This has been a fun spring. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.